Hi, and welcome to Traces of Love. The song I just played, that was the title of it. It was released in 1969 by a group called the Classics Four. But it has a very special meaning to this program that I'm going to introduce you to. Let me give you a little background about myself. Over the past 6 years, I have been playing piano professionally for memory care homes, as well as some independent and assisted care homes. This came about after a career in law enforcement, and my last duty before going into this was training police officers on observation skills. So during the course of my playing at these memory care facilities, one of the things that breaks my heart more than anything else was when I would see a loved one come to the home or residence and not be able to recognize, the patient not being able to recognize the loved one. You'd see a daughter come in and say, "Mom," and mom doesn't recognize who she is, or even a spouse who doesn't recognize a husband or wife any longer. So I wondered whether there was something I could do about this. And it happened that the program that I had been doing for police officers on observation, one of the things that I had noticed with police officers is that oftentimes they don't have any better skills than the layperson in recognizing faces. And the way I determined that is I created a test that would let them look at a picture of a missing person, and then that person would be dropped in a different pose among 3 other people. And the challenge was, could they identify the same person? And what I found was that, again, they did no better, most of them, than the average layperson. But the people who did terrific were artists. They would score 90 to 100% on this test. So I went to a forensic artist, a very good friend, who is able to draw the picture of an individual suspect from just the description that a person gives. I'll show you an example of that. Well, what I wanted to do then was kind of reverse engineer how in the world could you come up with a picture so close to the actual suspect who was caught by just listening to a description. And it was a little bit counterintuitive of what I thought. You would think that the artist would go for the distinguishing characters first, but truly it starts with the shape of the face. And so by training police officers the 5 basic shapes of faces, I was able to increase their scores significantly just with that alone. But I took it a step further, and I had them to start tracing faces of well-known criminals or missing people. So this then increased their scores significantly, almost to that of the artists. So I had put that aside and was doing my piano playing, and then it occurred to me, I wonder if this particular course would have any value with people who cannot remember the face of a loved one. So I started to re-engineer my course to work for seniors. And what I have them do now is trace the faces of celebrities initially to learn the skill of how to do it. I try and help them along with shading and some other techniques to get the face to look a little more realistic than just a simple tracing of it. And what I found was they do an incredible job with this exercise and apparently enjoy it tremendously. Oftentimes, they will want to go longer than the session that has been allotted to me to train them. The ultimate objective then is to have them draw or trace faces of their loved ones, hence the name Traces of Love. And the idea behind that is that by tracing the face of the loved one, they're going to create new neural connections in their brain that would help them possibly to remember or identify a loved one when they come to visit. Now, certainly with some people with very severe dementia and Alzheimer's, the program will not work. They're too far gone with this. But the ones that are early on, where the disease is progressing, this not only has the potential benefit of being able to recognize the face, but it's also exercising the brain. There are actually a few things that can be done that brain science has recently found. One is diet, exercise, association with others, friendships, and the last is exercising the brain. And I have a theory. I mean, when I go to these places, oftentimes with some people who are in very advanced stages, music is the only thing left for them, that they can be able to bring back memories of things in the past through a song. Oftentimes, they will wheel somebody in that's next to comatose. And the minute I start playing, they come to life and they start tapping their feet or tapping their hands to the beat, or I will see them mouthing the words to songs that they remember. I've seen some very spectacular things that have occurred during some of these performances. I had one man who came in absolutely crippled with a walker, and I began playing Unchained Melody, and he stood up and grabbed another resident by the hand, and the two were actually ballroom dancing during the entire time that I was playing until I stopped. And then his legs seemed to give way, and they had to go out and literally catch him and help him back into his seat again. So even the physical can be changed with music. But my thought with this program is to have people who are seniors and possibly starting to get dementia or Alzheimer's disease begin to exercise their brain through this tracing process. And the more they do it, the better that they become. It's just like anything, with practice, you gain skill. And you also are developing your neural connections to potentially be able to remember those who you love. I will show you now some of the pictures that have been created by people in memory care situations, and I think you'll be quite amazed at how well they did. I look forward to meeting you and to conducting my program for you or your organization, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.